So here we go, Jak 3 in the conclusion of the Jak and Daxter Trilogy. This part platformer, part action series has had plenty of surprises and changes along the way, so time to see how it all ends.
Oh yeah! The boys are back in town!
Let's go topside and see what kind of trouble we can get into.
There are two main worlds to explore in the game. One is the large desert that lies outside the city of Haven, and the other is the city itself. Now the wastelands aren't safe to travel on foot, and so require a range of different buggies and cars to get about in. It has a Mad Max or even Judge Dredd feel to it, with a settlement of people living in rough, warlike conditions after being exiled from civilization. It's up to you to prove yourself a worthy warrior to these people. Driving around is enough to draw the attention of local bandits and marauders who relentlessly chase you and try and kill you. Thankfully though, usually without any luck. Even the city's changed. War has broken out as the metalheads and a new robot threat cause chaos in the streets. Although in saying that, even with a battle on every corner, it's a much safer place to live than it was in Jak 2, mainly because there's a lack of other drivers to crash into. It's nostalgic seeing all of these old locations again, but at the same time interesting to see how they've all changed. You spend the game switching between the city and the desert, helping out whoever needs you at the time. The new characters introduced, particularly from the Wasteland, unfortunately don't quite have the same fun personalities of some of the characters from the old games, and a few old fan favourites who do make an appearance don't really have a lot to say or do, which is a shame. A lot of the missions involve racing, more so than they do platforming. One nice addition is the introduction of some flying levels, which have a much bigger scale to them. Jak can eventually even fly by himself using a new light eco ability. That's right, as well as dark eco to turn himself into some kind of beast with powerful attacking moves, he can also use the all-new light eco to solve puzzles. These are all nice moves, however they are a bit underutilized. Puzzles are simple, and towards the end of the game, if I'm honest, I sometimes even forget that I have them. Other of course than the ability to heal, that always comes in handy. Jak 3 is a lot easier than the second game and never really got as frustrating. This is maybe disappointing for a lot of players, especially those hardened up by Jak 2. The biggest difference here is that the levels have a much fairer checkpoint system, so when you die, you don't have to go miles back and repeat the same sections over and over again. Sure, it may sometimes take a bit of practice and it may require learning from your mistakes, a lot like say a turbo tunnel in Battletoads. But while this decrease in difficulty certainly improves the experience, as it makes you not want to throw your PS4 out a window, at the same time it makes the whole thing less memorable. By not having to repeat the same hard sections over and over again, means that you can breeze through levels at a much faster rate. Sure, the pacing of the game is better, but there's not quite that same level of satisfaction in completing anything. And speaking of pacing, I do like how a lot of the missions follow on from one another, meaning that you don't have to spend as much time travelling around the city, getting from the end of one mission to the start of the next. The guns are a lot more powerful, with a total of 12 of them, each coming in handy for different situations. Perhaps some of them are a little too overpowered. It makes even Fallout's Fat Man or even Crypto's meteorite gun look weak. Of course, the hoverboard can still be a pain. This by far causes me the most annoyance. On foot there is much more room for error when platforming, whereas the hoverboard requires greater accuracy, especially while trying to land a grind. And I swear at times this thing has a mind of its own. The bosses provide a lot of fun, each coming with some new imaginative ways of fighting. You have to bide your time dodging attacks until you get the opening you need to do some harm. Completing the game rewards you with a more challenging hero mode. You can also, if you want to, go around the world unlocking all of these small challenges for you to do to get extra precursor orbs. These can then be spent in the menu upgrading weapons, unlocking new moves, and unlocking cheats. Plus on the PS4 there's a full range of trophies, including a platinum. Most of these you'll get naturally by just playing through the campaign, but there are some for collecting everything. And it's also nice to see the game looking good in 1080p, although maybe it's just me, but perhaps Jak 2 actually looks a little better than this one. The Jak and Daxter Trilogy is loved and remembered by fans across the globe. They were games that players poured hours into, trying to collect every item and explore every nook and cranny, as there was always something more to see. It was a series that matured as its audience did, and never stopped surprising, so thank you Naughty Dog for giving us another excuse to play these games. My name's Alex A. Madge, and thanks for watching.